Edward Lee. I'm a photographer and filmmaker, and this is the LitraPro. Why should you care about this light? Well, let's dive into this full-featured pocket-sized studio light. Now, because this is a full spectrum bicolor LED, which means I can change the temperature of the light. As you can tell right now, it's on 3000 Kelvin. I can change it all the way up to 6000 Kelvin or daylight, which is awesome because you can switch between daylight and tungsten for filmmaking. On top of it being a bicolor LED light, this thing can get bright. Right now I was at 25%. I'm gonna blast it all the way to 100. As you can tell, this thing can really act even as a key light, fill light, hair light, whatever you need to be because it's so bright. It also has full adjustability between 5% increments, so you can really adjust and shape the light just the way you need to fit your needs. This light also has a 95+ CRI or color rendering index. It just means how accurate this color is when you don't have natural lighting outside. So when using artificial light such as this one, it's super important for it to be color accurate, especially when you're filming things like skin tones, because you don't want the skin tones to have any kind of weird color shifts. That's why it's important to have a really color accurate light. Another great thing about the light output when it comes to the LitraPro is that it doesn't have any flicker when it's in videos. Now, you guys have probably seen when you're putting the camera towards certain lights, because of the light frequency, you have that weird flicker, even though to the natural human eye, it doesn't have flicker. When you go to see it in your video, it has flicker. That's because the frequencies aren't matching up. But this one, this LitraPro right here, you don't have to worry about any flicker happening, both in slow motion or recording in full HD or 4K. Now, when it comes to battery life on the LitraPro, on full output, which is 100%, it will run for 45 minutes. And at low output, it can run for 10+ hours, which is pretty handy when you need just that small little fill or hair light. Next, let's talk about the build quality of the LitraPro. Let me just say, this little guy right here is an absolute tank. And no matter what the location or weather is, you can be sure that the LitraPro will deliver every single time. The hardware itself is waterproof up to 90 feet or 30 meters. Also has two 1/4-20 mounts, both on the side of it and on the bottom of it. This is awesome because you can mount it on things like light stands, tripods, any kind of accessories when you're out on a shoot, which means you can really put this light anywhere. Another awesome feature about the hardware is that it actually has an OLED display right on the top, which allows you to see the Bluetooth connection and also what percentage the light is at and the Kelvin and the battery life. So having this OLED display on top is perfect for when you're in a dark setting and you need to see what settings your light is on. Next, let's talk about Bluetooth controls. One of the game-changing features about this little powerhouse right here is that it's app controlled. When you fire up the LitraPro app, you can actually control the light and it gets pretty in-depth. Let me show you. So I could turn on the light, turn it on and off with the app. I can also control how bright it gets, which is amazing. I can control the light temperature straight from the app. Another really cool feature about this app is that it has a strobe mode and it has full controls over it. So I could turn on the strobe mode and control the intervals at which the light strobes, which is pretty amazing. Also in this strobe mode, I can adjust how much the minimum brightness is between each of the intervals. I can set it to a 0% minimum brightness, which gives it a full strobe effect, or I can even put it to like 25%. It kind of gives it like a pulsating effect. This is gonna be awesome for you filmmakers because you can emulate certain type of scenes. Like if you're trying to emulate a fire, you can put it to a warm color temperature and have it dim in and dim out like someone's surrounded by a bonfire. Or, you can even put some color gels on these and emulate police car lights. You could put a red one and a blue one and then emulate the car lights coming in from behind you. So this can really become the ultimate filmmaking tool, especially if you're doing a lot of kind of narrative work or storytelling. Now, with it being app controlled, that means you can actually control multiple LitraPros all at once as well. Why does that matter? Because when you have them all connected under one device, you can control the color temperature, the color brightness. You can even group them, set your own presets, and name the specific lights depending on what shoot you're on. So really, through the app, you have full control whether you're using one LitraPro or multiple LitraPros on any given shoot. Now, last but not least, the LitraPro is awesome for its versatility. There are barn doors, honeycomb, color gels, softbox. Really, you can use it as a key light, a hair light, a fill light. The things you can do with this light is pretty unmatched. And because of all those accessories that you can mount onto the LitraPro, in such a small footprint, you can bring this light to any shoot and have professional studio lighting that fits in your pocket. Now, the people over at Litra really stand by the LitraPro. They've won countless awards with this light. They also have their own factory, and they really just want to take care of the users who use this light.